Hey everyone. Um, Hope you had a good week. It was a busy enough week here for sure, but it was good. Everyone's healthy and kind of bopping along. We're like already into November. It's crazy. It's definitely feeling a little more like November than it has been, to be honest. It got pretty cold pretty quick. So we're just kind of getting used to that. Thinking ahead to, a month and a half, I guess now, something like that. Christmas will be around the corner. So we're kind of getting into that feeling around here. I noticed I was going for a walk this morning and I see a lot of people already putting up Christmas stuff. So we're shifting gears, a bit of a transition. I'm feeling that, a bit of a transition from more the warmer fall to like, okay, we're in the late fall, early winter vibes here, and Christmas is coming. So hopefully you've had a good week. Today I thought I'd try a deck that I don't think I've used this deck with you guys. It's an Oracle deck. It's called, it's really cool actually, especially if you're into crystals as well as Oracle. It's called the Crystal Wisdom Healing Oracle by Judy Hall. So it's really neat. Like every card in it represents, shows a different crystal. And then in the vibe and feeling of that crystal, it conveys a message. So I am really interested to see if anything interesting comes. Well, I'm sure something interesting will definitely come through for us today, but I'm curious to see what that will be. So I'm just going to give our deck a nice shuffle here. Take my time and just wait till I feel that inspiration. There we go. Okay, there we go. That's the one. So we have, oh, I don't think I've ever pulled this one before. 37, which is Lavender, I hope I say this correctly, Aragonite. Aragonite. So I'll show you the picture. It's very pretty. You can see that lavender color there. It almost reminds me a little bit of looking at it, almost like a similar vibe to like selenite. Like it has that kind of almost fibers. I could be wrong, but there we go. Okay, so lavender aragonite. So I'm very curious to see what the energy would be of that particular crystal card. So take a look here. 37. All right. Interesting. Environmental healing. So lavender aragonite heals your personal environment and Earth's meridian grid and raises the vibrations of the planet. That's really interesting because just noticing, because I like, science person to me, I love to kind of track things like solar flares and things like that. And we've had some pretty interesting ones in the last, well, even overnight, early this morning, there was a X class, and then there was a few big X classes a few days ago as well. So for me, whenever I see that, I think of like, energy coming to the planet, especially when what the one today definitely was Earth facing. So just thinking for me, I had that in my brain from this morning when I noticed that the X class solar flares, the energy is coming to the Earth and into the grid, right? So that's interesting. And then also your personal environment, right? So very connected, like we live on the Earth, right? So what's going on in our personal environment and in the Earth are intrinsically connected for sure. Raising the vibrations of the planet. Love that. Okay, so for self-understanding, has a little note here. Become comfortable in your own body and environment. So you incarnated to be a guardian for the planet. You are a vehicle for purifying and healing the earth, reminding others that it is a sacred living being to be treated with respect. Pay attention to where you live within yourself. Do your inner housekeeping and nurture yourself. I love that. Okay. So it's this idea is like within, so without, right? So like very important. We all, I hope, understand. I know we do on some level, but like putting into action more, right? Over as we move along, that, we only get one earth, and anything we can do to help, preserve it, not polluting, not overusing or over consuming. And I always, like, for me, it's really important to connect with that earth, like going outside into nature, right? And not just establishing, but nurturing that connection. So that I definitely see the importance of. But I find it interesting, like, just in general, anything you can do for your being, right? Your inner self, whatever that is. So housekeeping and nurturing. So I felt like I needed that a little bit at the beginning of this weekend. I think just with such a hectic week last week of like, I just needed to take some time to like let some, like, just be with some energies and just breathe through some energies and let them pass through, and nurturing myself and allowing myself that time, right? And that space to actually do that. And then I became aware of like, oh, I need a nap. Like maybe I'm just tired too, right? Or what do I need? Like sometimes we know we're off, but we just don't. We're just so scattered. Like, okay, so now what, right? So for me, I've learned I need to like use my tools to bring that calm, to bring that quiet, feel what's there without my mind going into a whole story about it. That can be a challenge. But if I can get to the place where I'm just feeling what's there, just let it be. And then often I'll have inspiration come to me of like, oh, I am exhausted. I had no idea. I just need to go for a nap, right? Or just maybe I just need some quiet space today for myself, or what? Or maybe I need to go for a walk to move some energy through my body, or do my yoga practice, right? So sometimes like you just don't quite know until you take that quiet time, take those few deep breaths, just be in the moment, and then tune in, right? What do I need to really nurture myself? I love that. Okay, and it has a little section here for divination. It's got quite a bit of information. So become a vehicle for the healing of the environment by opening yourself to higher vibrational energies. Do not participate in anything that despoils the planet or diminishes its resources. So we talked a little bit about that, about anything that would be contributing to pollution or overconsumption of resources, things like that. Like try to be mindful. Is there another option instead of doing that action? I mean, none of us are perfect with that, right? But once you have the awareness around it, other possibilities start to open up, and anything that you can do to help is helpful, right? You don't have to solve. Sometimes I used to feel like that, where, oh my, you get overwhelmed with, there's so much, where do I start? And whatever you can do in the moment is going to be helpful, right? And that's better than what would have happened before. And then you just kind of move along in the flow, doing the best you can, right? That is all I think that any of us can really do. So it says here, work with your power animal and nourish your inner being. Take no risks and avoid excesses. So just again, I get that feeling of like connecting to yourself, your higher self, your energy, how you are in this moment, right? And what do I need? What do I need to nourish my inner being? And taking time and energy, well, take time and energy for that. And then the energy you get from that. I felt that yesterday. I was just like, oh, I don't even know where to start here. And it's just like, I literally just had to close my eyes, meditate for a little bit. And then I had that little quiet nap. And then I literally felt so refreshed when it was like maybe only 15 minutes, but so I had to take a little energy into that, a little focus with my meditation, but the payoff energy wise was so worth it. So take no risks and avoid excesses. So just like almost like taking action within your means, within the actual energies that you have, right? And being mindful of the energies you have. That's how I'm taking this. Um, as opposed to overextending yourself. That's how for me, that's something I have to really watch. Being in tune with it. Do I have this in me right now, this energy to do this thing that's being asked of me or whatever? And if not, then it's a no, and that's okay, right? Setting those healthy boundaries. Right. Okay. Working on that. Healing insight. We have, if your environment is unhealthy and disharmonious, it cannot support well-being. transform it, and well-being returns. And that could be, I'm getting like your environment could be like in your home. Is there, I know a few weekends ago I had this like, things are getting a lot. It was like just too much happening, and I needed to take just a few hours. And that could be, again, that nourishment, right? I need to take a few hours and just organize a few things here, right? And then it's amazing how that really does benefit, that little investment of time and energy when you have it long term for your mental well-being, right? It's like, oh, I can now, you really feel that shift in energy in the space. So it could be like simply tidying up a little bit, right? Taking some time aside for those maybe chores or things that you need to do to help you feel a little more at ease in your space. Um, yeah, and it could just be like, even like, I know it says here about your environment, but like just maybe for yourself, like what do you, maybe like for me, one of the best things I can do for myself, I know it seems superficial, but honestly, I don't know, it works miracles, is I need to go have a bath. My kids know. It's like, it's going to be an hour. I'm in there. And it's just like my time to decompress. And it seems like, oh, how could that make a big shift? But I know from experience that it does for me. Right. So maybe it's just that I just need that quiet, lights are low, just like me, it's quiet, or maybe some calm music. And just putting myself in that harmonious, calm place, that can really go a long way for shifting my energy in a good way. So that, for me, that's one thing that really helps. Could be something very different for you. Yeah, transform this energy, and well-being returns. Absolutely. So sometimes I know I've got to that place where I'm like, oh, you just keep pushing and you're like just so done already. It's like, if I can just take that breath, take that break, right? Do something. Like maybe it's just closing my eyes and just being with my breath, tuning into my energy. Maybe it's just that simple, 5-10 minutes. That can make a big difference, right? And maybe it's something more. And then I move in that direction, because otherwise you're just draining yourself. And we know this, right? Really, what you're bringing when you're drained like that to any situation is not very helpful, right? It really isn't. If anything, it can be very counterproductive. So I'm speaking to myself here. When you're feeling that, oh, I gotta, right? I push to overextending myself in whatever like directions I think I need to get done. That's usually a sign. Okay, take a breath, regroup, get yourself back to a better place. And what you're bringing to whatever situation will be much more helpful. Okay, so it's a fantastic reminder for me personally. It just says here at the end, the frequency of this card is very high. The chakra, it's aligning the earth star, the base chakra, the third eye chakra, the soul star, and the stellar gateway chakras. Okay. And the timing is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and Aquarius. I'm not huge into astrology, but that might mean something to you if you are those signs. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Aquarius. And the soul path is the healing the environment. So that's kind of the main focus. It could be I'm getting the vibe that for me, I'm feeling personal environment. Maybe it's just, my space where I live, my home. But it could also be like my work environment as well, right? It could even be like the interactions and relationships in that environment. That could be a factor that you're working with, those energies, and obviously the natural environment. I get that. That's the main focus, right? That natural connection to the earth and the earth environment. So, but it definitely starts, even that internal environment, right? It starts right there. Where are we at with that internal environment? What can we do to bring that good energy into our internal environment? And then that will emanate out into those other spaces for sure. Okay, what a great reminder. I love that one. Okay, well, hopefully that spoke to you and helps you, looking ahead, well, in this moment, and then looking ahead into your future week. As you're going along, what can I do to tap into that internal environment, and in my external environment, bringing that nourishing, nurturing energy first internally and then into my external environment. All right. Well, take care, everyone. Really great to be back with you. Again, if you have any comments, feel free to pop those in the comment section. Feel free to share and like. And until next time, we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.